Welcome back. As the White House's efforts to free the hostages held by Hamas continues, questions now arising from the intelligence perspective. How could any of this happen, in the first place, especially inside Israel? So let's bring in our contributors, ABC News national security and defense analyst Mick Mulroy. He's also the former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, along with former CIA field operative Daryl Blocker. Gentlemen, thanks so much for taking the time. Mick, what are you learning about the potential intelligence failures here? Because, it'll all be sorted out at some point, but this was a massive intelligence failure. What more, if anything, do you know about it?
So, Phil, I agree. It was obviously an intelligence failure and potentially an all-around security failure because the IDF forces took so long to respond even after the assault started. I think there's obviously many reports of intelligence, U.S., Egypt, others, before this. I think they have to really look at that to determine just how significant they were and whether it should have changed security postures. I don't think that's surprising to anybody like Daryl or myself that served as intelligence officers. But ultimately, they're going to have to figure out what went wrong to prevent it from happening again. But right now, I think they're mostly focused on recovery of hostages and this potential ground incursion into Gaza.
Yeah, and along those lines, Daryl, we know that there are some American hostages currently being held by Hamas in Gaza. Give us a sense of what you think the conversations are behind closed doors about how the United States can help get these hostages home.
Well, they can probably best get the hostages filled by figuring out where they are. There's going to have to be some negotiations or some talking about trading because Hamas in the very beginning said they want to have people released from prisons. And so Israel has a very, very long record of doing just that. So hopefully, as these discussions are going on for the 100, 120, 150, however many people are still around, and those discussions are going to be sensitive and they're not going to be as quick as the families are going to hope.
Daryl, I asked you about American hostages first, but we do know there are hostages from all over the world being held there. What, if anything, do you know about any kind of international cooperation or coordination here?
The coordination is when a citizen from whatever nation goes missing or becomes a hostage, they almost immediately are in contact between their respective capitals, their respective prime ministers or presidential circles, and certainly within the intelligence and security apparatus. So those discussions will be bilateral, independently in between Israel and I believe, up to 36 nations whose citizens are missing, and then collectively they'll figure out the best way forward.
And Mick, what do you think the options are here when it comes to getting these hostages back? Because you and I have talked about this before. One of the most densely populated places, about the size of Philadelphia, is Gaza. And certainly the IDF can ask people to move south, but there are people everywhere in Gaza, and there are hostages being held most likely in separate locations. What are the options here for the IDF?
So I think the best option Daryl just laid out. It's the diplomatic option, quite frankly, to try to do some kind of exchange or some kind of negotiations that could bring these people out safely and not necessitate an actual direct action mission to recover them. If the negotiations don't work, then that is the option. Special operations forces getting precise intelligence and executing almost flawlessly to make this successful, because this is the most difficult combat operation to perform, hostage rescue, and these are going to be the most difficult circumstances. So I think it's going to be selected, targeted, surgical, if you will, special operations recoveries. And then if that is not successful, they're going to try to recover them as this potential ground invasion goes forward and goes block by block.
All right. Mick Mulroy and Daryl Blocker, both thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.